Are you scared of your shadow's truths? Well, I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be scary. In today's pick a card reading, I am revealing to you what your shadow is trying to tell you, honestly. Hello everyone, I am the Honest Hierophant who is happy to have you here. I know today's reading is a sensitive one, but I want to reassure you that I will handle this reading with gentleness and care. I will provide uplifting energies so that way it eases the reality of the information that you receive in today's reading. In today's pick a card, we are dealing with 3 piles, and if you have forgotten the icon that was on the thumbnail that you clicked on, those icons will also be established near your pile. For the first pile, we have the Guardian of the Night Tarot with a Larvikite tower. For pile number 2, we have the Black Tarot with a Smoky Quartz tower. And then for pile number 3, we have the Wild Unknown Tarot with a piece of Obsidian. Feel free to go ahead and pick your pile now based off either the icon, the tarot deck, or the crystal, whatever you feel the most called to. I also want to let everyone know that I will be connecting with your energies and channeling in messages that you need to hear while also pulling the cards for you. And there will also be oracle messages and affirmation cards added on to the reading to give you a good boost of energy. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to get into your readings. Hello, my pile number ones, whether you have chosen the werewolf icon, the Guardian of the Night Tarot, or the Larvikite Tower, welcome into your section of the video. So glad to have you here. This reading is based off what your shadow is trying to tell you, and it's just in time for the Halloween season. Halloween is just around the corner, so that kind of fits in with the theme of this month. So I'm excited to jump into it. Like I said in the intro, I'm going to try to handle this reading with delicacy and gentleness, so that way you are not turned off by the reading. But we're trying to find out what the truth is about your shadow. What is your shadow trying to tell you? What is your shadow trying to get you to do? These kind of things to grow, heal, and become a better version of yourself. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I'm going to go ahead and tap into your energy pile number 1 and see if there's any sort of channeled messages that wants to come out first. Then we'll pull some oracle cards, and then we'll also clarify with tarot, and then end with some uplifting messages from affirmation cards. All right, pile number 1. The energy that I am feeling from you is that you are very, very work-oriented. And I think the reality of the energy of working so much is the fact that there's some fears coming up of potentially missing out on things. There is fears of your own personal problems. Maybe there is situations that you have potentially gotten yourself into. Maybe there is some energy that you are very, very uncomfortable being around. Working and doing these things are allowing you to kind of escape some of these consequences or some of these realities, or really just going away from conflict. And I think that's kind of where your energy is being presented, is maybe trying to make sure that you are focused on something that is working for you, or that you are excited about, or that you do give yourself like more of the energy that you want to represent. Maybe this is an energy of how you want to be seen in the world, or maybe this is an energy of how you want to represent your energy to people that are close to you, or maybe this is the way that you want to be for yourself because it's easier to be this way than to deal with some of the realities of your shadow aspect. So that's what I'm kind of feeling right now just from your energies. But let's go ahead and dive into some oracle cards. What truths are wanting to come out from pile number 1's shadow? I already have a card falling out here. We'll move these over. All right, so we see from a higher perspective with the eagle. And then we also have another card that I need to figure out how I want to stack these. Let's go ahead and move that up. And I'm hoping that is showing up on the camera. Okay, that works. And then let's go ahead and pull 2 more oracle cards from a different deck. What does pile number 1's shadow want to reveal to them at this time? What have they been trying to tell them? We have building atoms And then we have Depth Lake. Interesting. So there is definitely a lot of things that are suppressed here within your shadow. There's some things that maybe you have decided to not really look at as, okay, I done this, and this is what I receive from this choice that I have made. And instead of facing the reality of that choice, instead of facing the hardship of that choice, you are suppressing it. You are allowing it to not be there. Maybe you are trying to kind of switch it in your mind of saying, okay, I'm actually really happy with how things are. I'm actually really happy with what is going on in this situation, but I'm not going to look at it, because as long as I have that in my mind, that it's good, that it's happy, that it's working, and I don't look at it, I don't have to view the truth of the situation, even though your shadow aspect of yourself is already dealing with that. And what I'm feeling is that there's a lot of energy building up within your shadow that is weighing a lot on you. And this can easily be depleting of your energy. If you are someone that is kind of, let's say, working a lot and then resting a lot, or maybe you have the weekends off and you don't really want to do anything with your time off, or there's just a lot of energy of you just feeling very fatigued or drained, this could be coming up from your shadow aspect with dealing with a lot of this energy. You're dealing with a lot of this energy subconsciously where you're not dealing with it properly. And this energy is just kind of feeding itself with your overall energy and the energy to do things. So it seems like the advice here for you is to kind of allow yourself to open up to the grander perspective of what you're dealing with the things that are around you, with the energies that you are kind of giving a blind eye to and saying, yeah, everything's good over there, but as long as I don't see it, things can be normal, things can be okay. And I think in reality, since this energy is so heavy on you, that it's not allowing you to move forward. And I think as long as you start making choices to move in a direction of healing this energy or potentially confronting this energy, dealing with it, you are going to be protected, because the right outcomes are going to come to you because you're making the choices that are going to be right for you as well. So being able to cipher through this energy will allow you to kind of take this part break or this anchor off of your internal being, so that way you can start moving forward, so that way you can start growing again, so that way you can start living comfortably and not having to suppress the reality of the hardships. And you might be wondering, I don't think I really know what you're talking about. I don't really think that there's any sort of energy there that makes sense in my life. And that's probably because you have built up such a blockage of seeing this reality the way that it's supposed to be viewed that is affecting you the way that it is. And we're going to clarify that with some more tarot cards coming out here in a second with the Guardian of the Night Tarot. But I just think that you're dealing with something the wrong way. So let's see what we can pull here. What is pile number 1 dealing with the wrong way, and how can they address it better? You got the Knight of Pentacles, you got the Eight of Pentacles, so there goes the working card. We have the Fool, King of Wands, Two of Cups, and the Hierophant. Interesting. Okay. So it seems to me throughout the times that you were wanting to, work on things in your life, build up things in your life, there has been some choices that were made along the way that really didn't give you exactly what it is that you felt deeply connected with. These are energies of you kind of working hard and things kind of slipping through the cracks in a way. And I feel like the power that you're giving yourself to work hard and do these things is the power that you don't have when doing other things, whether that's connections with people or the connections with people that are in your life. You are not giving yourself the power to control those aspects. You're only giving yourself the power to control what it is that you're doing within a workspace. And yes, that power feels really good. And that's the power that you can have within yourself. And that power is the truth of yourself, what you deeply resonate with. But you do not have the power to control anything else around you, whether that's where your money is being spent, or who you are in a relationship with, or how you're able to spend your time comfortably in your home, or maybe going out and doing the things that you want to do. You don't have that power to make those choices or to give your time to those things like you want to. And it seems like over and over again, there's times where things kind of show up to be like, okay, here is the path that you can move forward on to reconnect with your true self, reconnect with the true energies that you need to be able to do to live your life happy, comfortably, and just in a romantic way with yourself. And what it seems to be is that maybe there is a lesson here that another individual in your life, could be a partner, could be a wife, husband, whoever in your life, that is supposed to be helping you through these challenges. It's almost like they are the one to put on this pressure of you to push you to a point where you accept the responsibility, you accept the power, you accept control of being able to make these choices better. And until that point of you kind of seeing that for what it is and accepting that power, you are not going to be able to grow. And with you accepting the power, you then turn your life into something greater. You then start to feel more like yourself. You are then able to do things without others questioning it, or to do things without yourself questioning whether this is right or wrong. And I feel like you have kind of put yourself into this deep routine of living this life the way you have been and avoiding the things that could make you feel comfortable. And I feel like the only thing that makes you comfortable is work, is staying dedicated to a work environment, or keeping yourself busy to where you avoid everything else that are a challenge to you, that challenges your power. But really, it's not that it's challenging your power for you to feel weak. It's really challenging your power to kind of grow into it, to be able to say, man, I am super comfortable with inside myself that I don't care if I go in my room, lay on my bed, watch TV for the next 12 hours. I don't care if I decide that I want to go spend my money on the movie theater and watch a bunch of movies throughout the day. Or I don't care if I go out to the casino and start gambling my money because that's exciting. That's what makes me happy. That's what makes me feel like I'm in control. And if people have something to say about it, then I can comfortably say back to them, look, guys, I am living my life the way it is designed to be lived, and that is living in the moment, that is cherishing the beauty of all things around me, and being able to make myself happy because I don't need other people to do that for me. I don't need to live by anybody else's control. Yes, there could be great advice from people to knock off bad habits, but that is for you to grow with as well. That is for you to grow within those lessons in life as well. So basically what I'm saying is that you have to gain control over what you feel is connected to you. And if you start to turn that away, that's where you're at now, deep into a hole where you're not able to gain access to that control of your reality. Let's see here. Can we get some more tarot cards about the situation in itself? Is there any clarification about this connection with someone? Yep, there's the Lover's card. So it is a romantic connection. And the Ten of Wands. So yeah, this person puts a lot of pressure on you. This person puts a lot of burden and hardship on you to where you're supposed to feel this energy. You're supposed to resonate with this energy. And this energy is being placed on you, being stacked on you, and it's growing within inside you. It's growing within your shadow because you're not wanting to deal with it. So what is this pressure pushing you towards? And like I've covered before, I think it's pressure of you needing to grow into the control of your choices for you, the things that make you happy, and being comfortable. Being so comfortable that any words or any acknowledgement negatively will not affect you. So how can you make that happen? How can you make yourself grow into that and be comfortable with that? That is what you have to work on. That's what your shadow is trying to tell you over and over again, that you've got to be comfortable with being able to make choices that make you happy. And I think the reason why here that you are distracting yourself with work is because you have that freedom where there is no pressure from any sides of you, especially from your lover, that controls any of those aspects during your work time. You have full control. You have full say-so. Nobody can judge you. Nobody can impact you. You have full control in that realm. But you need to branch outside of that realm so that way you're not stuck there and you can grow into full control everywhere in your life. And that's what you need to be, is in full control. And I think that's the reason why you need to see it from a higher perspective with the eagle, is because your percentage of control in your life is very low. You might feel like you have a really high percentage of control because you put yourself in a lot of situations of work. But if you take yourself out of that work element, how much control do you actually have in the entirety of your life? And that's what you need to grow into. And that's what you have the strength and the ability to be able to grow into. You would not be put into this situation if you didn't have the capability of growing and transforming into these energies. This is something that you're supposed to be learning within this lifetime, and that you can. You're fully capable. You're fully capable, pile number one. You have the tendencies. You have the audacity. You have the ability. You can do it. All right? So with this shadow aspect, what is the best way to heal this shadow, to bring it to light? We have the Page of Wands, and we have the Ace of Pentacles. So there is opportunity here. There is opportunity for you to be able to kind of start fresh, kind of put your foot forward where you're comfortable. And it's time to start from the bottom up. It's time to look at the ground that you're standing on, give it the energy that you want it to represent. Give it good vibrational energy. And then you can start expanding. You can start growing that energy around you in a circle and allow that to start growing out in a spiral shape. So that way you can start expanding this energy to everything that is in your life. All right. And the more that you are able to expand this high vibrational energy into all the facets in your life, then you are able to heal the shadow. You are able to give it the energy that it deserves, that you deserve. You deserve good energy everywhere you go. And you can have that, but it all starts within your control. It all starts with a great foundation, the great root system for this to happen. But in each facet of your life, whether it's relationship, marriage, career, home life, family, things of that nature, you've got to be able to represent your energy the way that you feel very authentic to be. And if you don't feel authentic right now, this is a calling for you to jump into the energy of feeling authentic. Resonate with yourself and allow those energies of yourself to come out into everything that you touch. And the more that you do that, the more that it heals your shadow, the more it heals the connections that you have hardships with, the more power that you start to gain back in those connections. And it builds up and builds up to a point where you are back in the saddle, where you are able to take on the world in a greater way than you have before. And you won't have so much energy being drained out of you. You won't have the shadow aspect tugging on you to a point where you're just wanting to wreak havoc. You're angry at the world. You're aggressive. You know, these energies need to be dialed back down. You don't need to be so aggressive. You don't need to be so snappy. You don't need to be in that space where if you feel like the negative energy is coming at you, you respond with negative energy, okay? If you feel negative energy is coming at you, you respond with light and love, and that will cancel it out. That will allow you to win, because light and love will always win. So with that being said, I do believe that you can transform this energy by allowing yourself to represent yourself to the fullest, okay? So think about some situations in your life right now where you don't feel like you're representing yourself fully. And think about how you can change that. How can you take those energies, rework it to a point where you feel very authentic, you feel like you have control, and allow yourself to be that way. Allow yourself to grow into that. And the more that you allow yourself to do that, the more you allow yourself to learn how to do that, the more that your shadow decides to recede and grow into light. So that way you don't have this energy pulling on you, draining you, things of that nature. So I hope all this makes sense to you right now, pile number 1. But let's go ahead and pull some affirmation cards for you. So that way we give you some uplifting energies to carry on into this journey of healing this shadow aspect. All right. First card we have is I accept all of my quirks and uniquenesses. The back of the card says, how do I feel about accepting my negative qualities? Am I able to accept my whole self? That is hugely powerful with this reading so far, is that you've got to be able to accept your uniquenesses, your quirks, everything that's about you, and allow you to represent yourself to the fullest without concern about what other people might say. And even then, whenever you are able to be yourself, you attract the right people to be around you. The real people will show themselves to you of whether or not they should stay in your life or not. And then the second one is, I like to work hard. Who am I when I am trying my best? What will success look like for me? Take your work ethic that you like to do for yourself to get out of the situation, to avoid everything that you're responsible for, and allow that work ethic to come into fixing your shadow. You like to work hard, so work hard at making your life the best it possibly can be on all the facets that you're attached to. And then lastly, for the third card, we have, I focus on positivity for a better me. And the back of the card says, what can I look forward to today? How can I stay positive when facing difficult situations? So exactly what I said about using your positive energy to face the darker energies or the negative energies that are trying to attack you. Return it with light and love, and it will conquer all. Stay positive, stay humble, and grow into the energies that you want to represent in your life. And everything will turn out just fine for you. And you will conquer this shadow aspect that you are having to deal with at this current moment in time. And you'll grow into a better version of yourself that will also be happier. I hope all this makes sense to you, pile number 1. Thank you so much for being here. And if this reading resonated, I'm sure there will be some other readings on the channel that you would also resonate with. Take care. Hello, my pile number 2s, whether you have chosen the Frankenstein icon or whether you have chosen the Black Tarot or the Smoky Quartz Tower, welcome into your section of the video. We're basically in Halloween season, and what better way than to figure out more about your shadow? This is a shadow tarot reading, so let's go ahead and dive into your energies. I'm going to tap into your energy, see what's coming up, and then we'll jump into some oracle, clarification with the tarot, and then ending with some affirmation cards. So let's go ahead and tap into your energies. Number 2, the energy that is coming up is a lot of grief and sorrow. There's a lot of energy of potential confusion. And I'm thinking that this is an energy of dealing with like why things have to happen a certain way. And I think what your shadow is trying to convey to you is that maybe you don't really have like a firm understanding of like the way life is represented or what you have to go through to really experience life, things that have to happen before you receive abundance, things that have to happen before, you get to a point that you're ready for. And it almost seems, if I was to go off a tad bit here, is that it almost seems like maybe you are kind of like new to spirituality, maybe you are new to tarot reading, or maybe you have been getting tarot readings for a while, but you haven't really received like good information. It almost seems like maybe you are misguided. So what better place to end up than to be here in this tarot channel, because I try to represent every single tarot reading as great as I possibly can and make sure that I give the most honest feedback as I possibly can. I'm not just going to tell you that good things are coming if they're not, and I'm not going to tell you the wrong things, right? And there's a lot of things to learn about spirituality. We're always learning, we're always growing. And it almost seems like this is something that you are currently learning right now within your own shadow is, what is life? What is life supposed to be representing? What are life lessons? What is my spirit team? How am I growing? Why are these things happening for me to have to learn things the hard way, or whatever the case scenario may be for you? But that's kind of the energy that I'm feeling right now within your shadow, is that there's a lot of energy right now that you are very, very confused by, okay? Like I said, you might be receiving some information from other tarot readers that are just giving you information that makes you feel good or makes you happy, and you're not ending up with those energies, so you're just like so confused, like, what is going on? I don't really understand. Like, I was promised this, but this didn't happen. Or maybe you felt like you were in a good relationship and then all of a sudden it broke off and you're just like left with heartache and trouble. So let's see what these oracle cards are going to come out and say for you. What shadow aspect is pile number 2 having to deal with? What does their shadow want them to know? All right. We have Earth Mother, and then we have Lady. Enjoy growth and reap rewards. Feel loved and comforted. I'm going to pull two more oracle cards for you from a different deck. We have movement, speed, and then we have ignition, fire. Very, very on point with what I was trying to convey to you with the messages I was receiving from Spirit. This is an energy of you needing to understand that you are catered to, that you are nurtured, that you are not put into situations by Spirit, God, the universe, for no reason at all. Like, if you're dealing with something that is very, like, hard on you, if you're dealing with struggles that you're just like, man, why is the world giving me this? Why is the world condemning me and making me feel all this pain and grief and sadness? You're not handed these cards because you can't deal with it. You're not handed these cards to feel this pain or sadness or anything of discomfort. You are being led by your spirit team to a place where you are able to receive the enjoyments of life. You're able to see the benefit of the world. And maybe, just maybe, you are having to learn more about your shadow aspect. You are having to learn more about darkness, so that way you can really cherish the true meaning of light and love and being able to see things in a more beautiful way, okay? And this is all a growing process for you. This is an energy of you needing to kind of learn lessons along the way of receiving benefits, right? It's not like you can really get to an end goal every single time without going on the journey itself. It's not like if you wanted to go to work, or if you want to go to school, or if you wanted to go to your parents' home, you can't just teleport there. You can't just end up there. You have to drive there or walk there. Same with the path that you're on to receiving the goals and dreams that you are trying to pursue is the same way. There are going to be things that come up that are going to detour you away from potentially going down that path because they're testing you to see if you really want it. They're also giving you these energies of negativity or hardships to really show you like how you're supposed to feel at the end when the reward comes to you. So every reaction has an opposite reaction, right? Every choice that you make gives you some sort of list of reactions to it. And you have to deal with everything that's involved. And the way that you deal with it is the way that you're going to grow. And if it seems like you deal with it the wrong way or you avoid it, then it might come back up into your life in a different way for you to learn that lesson. There's a bunch of life lessons that you are supposed to learn along these paths or along throughout your life that gears you up, that makes you into the person that you're supposed to be to receive the things that you are desiring, to receive the things that you are hoping for. It's not just because the world is cruel. It's not just because, you are dealt a bad life. It is because things take time. There's a lot of variables in this life for things to come into your life. If you're manifesting a lover, that lover has to be ready for you, just like you have to be ready for them. It's not like you can just instantly have it. It's got to be ready on both accounts. And then whenever both accounts are ready, then you come together and you find that love and grow with that. So that's what's coming up very heavily so far in this reading, is you not really sure about why things are happening a certain way. You not feeling very comfortable with some of the hardships you're dealing with. So let's dive into this tarot and figure out what basically any clarifications on what your shadow is trying to tell you and what you need to do about it. What is pile number 2's shadow telling them or trying to tell them? We have the World in reverse. We have the Sun. We have the Seven of Wands. We have the Three of Pentacles. The Magician is in reverse. And then we have the Fool. So I kind of feel like this energy is also speaking to me that, like whenever you start something, you never see the things through into the end. It's always an energy of you kind of being scared off of a situation, or you running away from pain, or you running away from darkness, or you running away from potential hardships. It's almost like, for example, if you started a job and you decided to work there for a week, and all of a sudden, you hear a lot of people talking negatively about the job itself, or about how hard the job is, or about maybe, the pay's not that great or something like that. And you don't necessarily have a personal issue with the job itself just yet, but you're hearing all these negative aspects about the job. And then maybe slowly the job does start to get a little hard on you. Maybe you're showing up late, or maybe, the boss has it out for you, something like that. When things slightly show things getting hard on you, you turn away and you run. You decide to quit. You decide to look for another job, and then the occurrence happens again. It doesn't necessarily have to be that example, but I feel like there's a lot of things in your life that you have dealt with that type of energy before, where you started up something and you ended something because something just did not feel like it was supposed to be like that. Okay, you were very concerned of why things were going negative, why things were hard, why things were dark, things like that. And I feel like you end things before they can even get started, or you end things before they can even come to completion. And you're always constantly seeking the brighter version, the higher vibrational version of everything that is out there. You're always seeking light and love, but you're not allowing yourself to understand the relationship with darkness that you should. The universe, the world, it works in your favor. It gives you the tools and the assets to be able to grow things that you want to attract in your life. And right now, with the Magician in reverse, you have not allowed yourself to grow out of your comfort zone. You have not allowed yourself to really grow into having the tools and the abilities to create what it is that you want to attract. You're very set in stone with only wanting to attract love, with only wanting to see positive energies. And then whenever something starts to go away from that, you quickly avoid it or run away from it. And I don't think that is necessarily what you should be doing. I don't think you should run away from misunderstandings. I don't think you should run away from things that start to become hard on you. You can't always be in positive energy, because the more that you're in positive energy, the more that you're not able to represent what that positive energy is supposed to feel like. You're not going to be able to really feel much of anything. In fact, you might even drain yourself of emotional attachments. You might actually feel that you can't feel much of anything at all. So, too much energy of one thing is a bad thing. And I think your shadow is trying to tell you that hardships, negative energies aren't necessarily bad, that they are tools to help you grow in life, to become the better version of yourself, to be able to have the tools and things to grow into the things that you want to attract. Okay, pile number 2. This is where this is coming from. The universe wants to work with you and not against you. What other information does pile number 2 need to hear about their shadow? We have 7 of Pentacles and the 6 of Spheres. So everything is a balance here. Everything is supposed to be a balance between light and love and darkness. And you need darkness sometimes to get away from constant sunlight when growing things. So for example, if you have a garden and you're growing crops in that garden, you can't always have sun or else your garden is going to dry out. It needs darkness to be able to have a cycle to recover from all the sunlight and all the heat. It allows itself time to be able to grow throughout the night. So darkness is not a bad thing. Darkness can create moisture. It can create shade. It can create things to get cooler, for things to grow when you're not seeing it. It all works in a balance there. And I think that's what you're having to realize now, and what your shadow is trying to get you to realize, is that you can't always run away from problems. You can't always run away from negative ventures in your life. You take it, you head for those energies, and you learn from them. You come out better from them, and life will have a good flow and balance between the two for you to really generate the best version of yourself, okay? What good advice does pile number 2 need to hear from their shadow? We have Page of Pentacles. We have, the Chariot in reverse. So right now, there is no movement in your life, okay, pile number 2. There is no movement for growth. There is no movement for change until you're able to kind of recenter yourself and recalibrate yourself to understand more about what you don't know. What are you scared of? What are you scared of learning? What do you not know that is scary? And how can you research that? How can you grow into that to know more about what it is that you don't know? And the more that you're able to understand about the things that you don't know, the more that you're able to be comfortable with maybe these darker elements, or maybe dealing with hardships, or maybe, dealing with uncomfortable things. So that way you can endure that. So that way you can get through these times to really be able to receive the benefit from it. There is benefit from these darker energies, from these darker times, because without it, we would never grow. We would never see life lessons to make ourselves into a greater person. So once you're able to see these things clearly and to understand what it is that you don't know more, you are able to move forward in life, grow into the things that you want to grow into, bring in energies and things that will make you happy and that you'll resonate with. And maybe it could even be a life's purpose. But right now, you are having to deal with a lesson, a really big life lesson right now. And I think it's more so converting into more of your spirituality and understanding what the universe has to provide to you and understanding all things spiritual that you don't know. I think that's the biggest life lesson that you're having to deal right now. Maybe you're in a spiritual awakening of sorts for yourself. And the more that you're able to ask questions to people that have the information for you, the more you're able to grow into that life lesson and pass it, and then create this movement again. So what questions do you have? Are there questions that you would like to ask me down in the comment section below? Feel free. Or you can join my Discord community page and message me directly if you would like. I would love to give you information that you might have questions on based on your spirituality. You are not alone. You do not have to go through this alone. You do not have to be scared of what it is that you don't know or understand. You can actually learn things. If you feel deep down in yourself that you don't have the capability of learning it, I'm here to remind you that you have the capability of learning whatever it is that you set your mind to. You just got to allow yourself to do that. You got to allow yourself to have the time to do that. Things do take time to grow into. So let's pull 2 more cards here, or however many wants to come out, about your shadow. Once again, is there anything else that needs to be said to pile number 2? I'm hearing very, very deeply, and these cards are starting to show to me why I'm hearing these things. Queen of Wands, yep. These things are coming out to me very deeply, that your shadow feels very suppressed. Your shadow feels very tucked away into an energy of avoidance. You are avoiding anything of negative energy. You're avoiding anything of harmful things. You're scared. You're scared of that because you don't know what it is. You don't understand what it's there to help you with. And your shadow feels very, very avoided, feels kind of almost like it's been backstabbed in a way, because it is a part of you. It is yourself that needs to be expressed, that needs to be acknowledged. And that energy is really festering right now. It wants you to know why it's there. It wants you to grow within yourself. And in all honesty, with the Queen of Wands coming out in reverse, beside the Seven of Swords, it shows that you have kind of betrayed yourself. It shows that you have betrayed your authenticity of yourself. You're not authentic to yourself. You're not allowing yourself to be who you're supposed to be because you're not growing into these things. You're not allowing yourself to grow into who you are, who you're supposed to become, because you're supposed to allow yourself to have this great effect on people, to be able to maybe even spread the information of what you're supposed to learn to other people. Maybe you're supposed to be a shadow worker or a shadow healer for some people, okay? There is great things that are supposed to come up into your life that is being avoided and that's not allowing it to come out. So how can you make that change? How can you grow into that? So with that being said, if you have any questions based off this reading so far, feel free to comment down below. But I'm going to jump into some affirmation cards for you and see what it has to say and give you some uplifting information to carry out of this reading. We have, I am grounded, I am loved, I am enough. What are 3 simple ways I can love myself every day? What are 5 qualities I already have that I love about myself? This could be a lot about self-denial as well. Maybe you're denying yourself of, things that you already have experienced. Maybe you have spiritual abilities that you're shutting down because you're not sure what those abilities are. Maybe you have the ability to kind of, let's just say, for example, you're a medium. You can see the dead. You can talk to the dead. But you're so unsure about that and avoid that and are scared of that you don't grow into it. So maybe asking yourself, who can I talk to? Who can I use as a mentor to be able to harness these gifts so I don't have to be scared and I can use it for a good reason? And I can love myself for being who I am. All right. The second affirmation card is, yes, I see the beauty in every situation and everything. What do I do when I feel life is too hard? How can I remind myself to see the beauty in the difficult situation? Beautiful, beautiful. I love that for you. Yes, there is love and light in literally everything, okay? Everything. Even in the darkest of times, there's beauty and love in that as well. You just got to find it, okay? The third card I have is I create my own path. Who's stopping you? What's stopping you? What's holding you back? Very powerful. I create my own path. Become that Queen of Wands. Be authentic to who you are. Represent yourself who you are, and you create your path. Things come up on that path to be dark and scary, but once you're able to conquer these things, you'll see things for what they truly are, and you'll find the beauty in those things, and you'll grow into a more beautiful person that you truly, deeply are. You are very beautiful, pile number 2. I gratefully appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Hopefully this resonates with you. And if this did resonate with you, there might be some other readings on the channel as well that you'll resonate with. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all. Take care. Hello, my pile number 3s. Whether you have chosen the skeleton icon or the wild unknown tarot or the obsidian crystal, welcome into your section of the video. So glad to have you here. It's basically Halloween season. So what better way than to dive into a shadow reading to celebrate the Halloween season? So we're going to start off with tapping into your energies. Then we're going to work into some oracle cards, clarification with the tarot, and then ending off with some affirmation messages for you. So let's go ahead and tap into your energy. What is your shadow trying to tell you? What's the truth behind your shadow? Okay, pile number 3. There's a lot of fear coming up in your energy so far. And I feel like there's a lot of fear about how things are going to work out between you and a situation. And you're constantly fearing about like what is going to transpire. What is going to be kind of like the outcome of a situation? Is it going to be the outcome that you want? Is it going to be the outcome that you are fearing is going to happen? What is it that is going to come up? That's kind of what you're dealing with right now, is the fear of the energy of a situation. Let me see if I can tap into more specifically what that means. I'm hearing that it could be a career for some of you. I'm hearing it could be in a relationship for some of you. Maybe you're fearing that you won't get this promotion for a career. Could be accepted into school. I feel like it's generalized around a lot of those elements there. Career, schooling, relationship. I'm also hearing fear about support from your parents as well as a fourth candidate there for some of you. But there's definitely big fear involved of how a situation is going to unfold. How is it going to be? The outcome, things like that. Is it going to be what you want it to be or is it not? So let's see here. What oracles wants to come out from pile number 3, Shadow? What's the truth? We have Shalom Master. Be graceful in movement and action. Then we have Traveler. Move in new direction. I'm going to pull 2 more oracles from a different deck. Have Connection, the Biome. And then we have Change, Wind. All right. So the biggest takeaway so far from these oracles is that the biggest thing that is the most inevitable thing in this world is change. That is the one constant. Things are always changing. Things are always flowing. And I think what your shadow is training you right now is to kind of be at ease, to kind of be malleable, I guess you could say, to really understand that you've got to adapt. Whatever the end goal is, if things start to appear in front of you, you've got to be able to dodge. You got to be able to bob and weave. You got to be able to maybe even change your own colors, maybe even change your own style, adapt to the things that are around you to get to the destination that you're wanting to get to. And if you have to move into a new direction, then that might be something that you have to do. And I think you just need to be a little less concreted with expectations. I think your shadow is trying to tell you that you might need to release the expectations that you might have for someone or something and really just feel comfortable in the mastery of yourself. Really feel comfortable with what you have and what you are and what you can obtain. And the more that you are comfortable within your own self, it will relay out to the energies that you are having fear over. So if you have fear over, this relationship not working out, then you need to settle down within yourself and be comfortable with confidence and knowing who you are, what you bring to the table, and knowing how you feel about yourself. And that will relay into your relationship. If you have fear over not getting that promotion or not getting accepted into school, just know how smart you are. Know how capable you are of completing the task or, doing the things that you need to do to be able to get into school. Like, you have what it takes to be able to be there, right? So being confident in the presence of yourself and knowing who you are, things will transform into the best way they possibly can for you, and you will get the greatest reward at the end of it all. As long as you're staying true to yourself, staying true to your confidence, and being able to adapt on the fly, and not being so hard pressed on what your expectations are for the way things are supposed to turn out in your own mind. So let's see what the tarot cards have to say about this. What does pile number 3 Shadow want to convey through the tarot? We have the 8 of Swords. We have the Death card. We have the 5 of Cups. Is the 9 of Swords. Then we have the Mother of Swords. And then we have the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is pretty much on point with what I was saying about, being confident within your own self and not allowing yourself to get so attached to a certain end goal or a certain perspective, because what ends up happening here, and I think what your shadow is trying to relay is, if you're not careful, I feel like some of you, if you're not careful, you can sink into this mentality, or some of you are already sinking into this mentality of not being able to really see the things that are supposed to come up in your life around you. If things are so determined to get to a certain scenario, you have your blinders on, you have, no peripherals to the things that are passing you by. And, potentially you could find something else that would be even better for you than what it is that you're aiming for. So the more that you have the energy of not seeing what's around you, or maybe looking more towards the past about how things were either better back then or how things failed, then you're never really going to see the opportunities that the future has for you. You're never really going to see, good things that are trying to make it into your life. And potentially there are better things than what you even have vision for yourself. What about if you're so determined to, I don't know, like let's say make $1 million, that maybe you don't see the opportunity to make $2 million, right? So that's kind of like the story here, that if you're so fixated and so focused on a certain outcome, then you might miss something that might even be greater or better for you. And it seems like there are things that are missing out on you right now. And that's something that you need to be able to switch the perspective of. It almost seems like you are going through a death and rebirth on this idea of being so hard-edged, being so fixated, and not being malleable, not being able to adapt, not being able to grow, not being able to let things in that can nurture yourself to be a better version of yourself. Things change. Things always are ever flowing. It's like, for example, if let's just say you're going down a stream in a kayak or a canoe or something like that, and then all of a sudden, your paddle breaks. One of your paddle breaks and you're left with just one paddle. Yeah, it's manageable. But what about if you were able to, let's just say, for example, get off on the side of the river and find something else to make your paddle work again? Like, let's just say you tie a stick to the paddle on both sides so that way the paddle is back together again, like bracing it. Then you can use your paddle again, and it saves so much time because now you're using two paddles again. You're able to adapt, you're able to grow. But you wouldn't have been able to do that if you weren't so hard-edged of just getting there. So that's kind of like an analogy there, if you want to use that or not. But I feel like a lot of these energies are also stressing you out. It's attracting a lot of negative energies around you. So the more that you're focused on something and not allowing yourself to bring in the right energies, you're also going to be attracting a lot of wrong energies to you. So that's kind of what's coming out here, is that you've got to be able to kind of see a bigger perspective, see the vision, see what's out there that needs to be notified about, back to yourself. And then you've also got to see what's not working. Take out what's not working, replace it with things that can work for you, so that way you can still stay motivated to achieving your dreams and making it to the end. Your shadow is telling you right now that the truth is that you're not being perspective enough. You're not being able to see things outside of your normal realm. You're not seeing things outside of your vision that can help you grow, that can help you obtain your dreams and visions. There's things around you that you can use as tools, that you can use as assets, that you can gain mastery with if you allow yourself to see it. But you've just got to see it first. What other things does pile number 3's shadow want them to know? We have the Hierophant coming out, and we have the Ace of Pentacles. So to me, it almost seems like you are so motivated to get to an end goal, but it almost seems like there's different paths that are opening up alongside of your main path that you're just not seeing. And you kind of are needing to go down these paths. You are needing to learn these things to become the master, right? And ironically, even though you're taking kind of like a detour path, these detour paths end up making it to where you achieve your goal faster. So your shadow is wanting you to open up to the ideas of taking these paths, these alternate routes, to be able to learn the things that will grow you into this final product, okay? And this final product will help you achieve this dream. Let's see if there's anything else that wants to come out from the tarot. We have the High Priestess, and then we have the Four of Pentacles. So you just got to listen to the universe. You got to be opening to listening to the universe, listening to your intuition as well. Don't ignore the intuition because you feel like it's supposed to be a certain way, or that you have too much to lose, so you're trying to protect things. There's also time to invest more into something. It's almost like, for example, if you have money and you are very, very conservative because you're getting down to your last dollar, but maybe you could use that last dollar to, let's just say for fun, invest in the slot machines, right, at a casino. And you invest that dollar, and that dollar ends up hitting the jackpot, and you end up receiving $4,000 from the jackpot. If you would have never have invested that last dollar in because you were too scared, you would have never hit the jackpot. And I kind of feel like that's what needs to happen here, is you don't need to be scared about investing more into things, because the universe is going to take care of you. The universe is going to help you get to the end goal, because that's who you're supposed to be. You are in alignment with your future, with your goals, with your aspirations that you want to take on. The universe will help get you there, but you've just got to trust, and you've got to be a little less conservative, because you've got to give it your all to get to that point. There's no reason for you to be scared. There's no reason for you to worry about missing out on something. There's no reason to have such a fixated mindset on something either, because you've got to expand and grow to be able to be that person that is ready for that thing. Anything else that wants to come out from pile number 3's shadow? We can get some more cards here. We have Temperance, we have Justice, and we have the World. 3 major arcanas coming out here, and they're all validating to you, pile number 3. They're giving you so much uplifting energy, knowing that you've got to work with what you're given, right? If you are given some mud, you need to make clay with it, so that way you can turn pottery with that clay. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta use what you're given, and you got to erase what's not working, and you will see a brighter vision. You'll see clarity with this whenever you do start to work with the things that you're given and learning the things that you're supposed to learn, that the universe introduces into your life, and things will pay off. Things will get you to where you're trying to get, and things will lead you to a completion of who you're supposed to become, who you're supposed to be, and what it is that you're wanting. And that will turn into so much greater news for you than you ever have expected the end goal to be like. And that this does seem like a divine thing. This does seem like your natural path, but you can't make it unnatural by trying to force something that isn't actually there, right? So that's what your shadow is wanting you to know, is that don't force things that is not there, and take the paths of learning to become the person that you're supposed to be to receive these things. Take off your blinders, take off viewing the past, take off feeling these energies of anxiety, panic, worry, and work with what you're given. Work on things that need to be replaced, that needs to be taken away from you. Put into action the things that need to help you and to work better for you. Things of that nature. Don't be so conservative. All right, let's see if I can pull some affirmation cards for you. Pile number 3. What does pile number 3 need to hear? All right, so we have, I am courageous. I stand up for myself. What is the most courageous thing I have ever done? How do I show courage in everyday life? Beautiful. Second card is, I breathe in confidence and I exhale fear. There's nothing to fear here. What is working well in my life right now? How would I live my life differently if I know no one would judge me? That's very powerful as well. And then lastly, we have, I don't sweat the small stuff. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it defeat you. What is considered as small stuff to me? How can I stop overreacting for small stuffs? Excellent. Okay, pile number 3. Those are your affirmation cards. Very beautiful words here. Enough to give you, hopefully, confidence into your abilities, into your path, into acknowledgement that your shadow isn't the worst thing possible here. Your shadow is an understanding of what it is you're going through, but your shadow also wants you to adapt. It wants you to adapt away from fear of missing out and more adapting into your confidence, adapting into who you're supposed to be, right? Not everything has to be a certain way. Not everything has to go your way, but everything can be in your control. You have the control of how you react to a certain outcome. You have the control on how you're supposed to feel about a certain outcome. You have control over what you want to say about a certain outcome if it does in fact happen. But you don't need to fear certain outcomes because you want it to be a certain way. You've got to let go of expectations. You've got to generate the power that you have inside yourself to make it to where you want to go in life, to make it to where you want to feel. Give yourself the freedom to give yourself good energy, all right? And that's what you need to hear. That's what you need to hear from your shadow. Your shadow is trying to tell you that you don't need to worry about anything else besides your own self, right? So that's what I got for you, pile number 3. Hopefully this resonates with you. Thank you so much for being here. If you are wanting to know more about what the next chapter in love is for you, more of a light work type of scenario here instead of shadow work, or if you're just simply trying to get back on the right path, check out these 2 videos on the end screen. Take care.